we are candid. We talk straight talk. We tell people what we think. And that tradition and those values live today.
Are the source of all governmental power. That the authority of the people is to be extended. We believe, not restricted, in equality for all and privileges for none.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Dem Good Time. And joining me today, so I, of course, am Rachel, Communications Director for Tarrant County Democratic Party. And joining me, I have Vicki from Finance, our Finance Director, and, of course, Iris, our Executive Director. Welcome, guys. Great to see y'all.
Hi, Rachel.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Yeah, we got some exciting stuff to talk about.
Game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the whole crew.
I know.
It's been a minute.
A couple of them, yeah.
So,
COVID,
it has been a few.
Yeah, COVID is the devil.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is still out there. So y'all, if you're not vaccinated, get vaccinated. It makes a difference. It helps.
Because I'm vaccinated, third time to get it. But I mean, none of the times I was worried about like ending up in the hospital or anything.
How about you, Iris?
Am I vaccinated?
Feeling better?
Oh,
yeah, you're vaccinated, right?
I am vaccinated.
Fully
yeah,
vaxxed and relaxed.
I'm not so much relaxed, but I am vaxxed.
Yeah.
I probably need to get my second booster. I think it's about time. So I need to look into getting that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, but you had COVID when I did, and my husband's doctor said, don't do it so soon because you have the natural antibodies. So give it like 3 months before you do anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
in about one.
Yeah.
So you got a minute.
Yeah. You got a minute. Okay. So I'm going to need Dem Good Time
on your cup.
Yes, because navy blue. It'll show up lovely light. And then on the other side, I'm going to have my Dallas Cowboys, of course, which is the whole purpose of getting this particular cup. And cannot wait for my Cowboys. We're almost there. And if you're not a Cowboys fan, I don't want to hear about it.
I don't know anything about sports. I don't have anything against the Cowboys, but
there's nothing to have against them. I mean,
I just don't know that I'm cautiously optimistic. How about that?
How about diehard fans?
I don't think anything's going to be better. I don't think anything's going to be better until Jerry Jones has gone away from that franchise. That's just my thoughts. I know I'm going to piss off a whole bunch of people, but it is what it is. That's what I said. That's what I think.
I think long-term, hardcore Cowboys fans, personal opinion, believe the same thing. Sorry, Jerry, but not sorry. Because
you and your boys, goodbye.
I think
the son.
Yeah, I think Stephen could do good.
Okay.
But Daddy's still.
That's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation, then.
Back to can't wait for them boys.
When is the next? When is? It's not started, right? Football season.
When does football?
Preseason.
When does football? You can tell I watch so much, right? Mm-hmm.
I did see on the news that they were doing some training camp, and they had a helmet, but then it had a helmet on top of the helmet, and they're testing out new technology to try to prevent traumatic brain injuries. That's as much as I know about sports.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, because
they're taking that seriously. That's good.
Football is a dangerous sport. Yeah.
needed to. I mean, because when you've had so many concussions, I mean, they've already proven scientifically afterwards slicing the actual brain. I mean, so much deterioration and causing.
I feel the need to interject. They only slice it because that's the only way you can identify it after the fact.
Yes.
Right.
And
okay.
Yes. And because it causes like seriously aggressive, dangerous behavior, radical, horrible, violent behavior. And I mean, those folks don't, those guys don't deserve that. They're doing what they love. It's not right.
Yeah, they should be protected.
Yeah.
Well, shifting gears slightly away from football.
Democrats.
Back to stuff I'm comfortable talking about more. Sorry. No, I do want to, before I forget though, go through a few upcoming events and reminders for the audience. So we do have our candidate town hall coming up this Saturday, 2 to 4 in Grand Prairie at the local UAW Union Hall. Mm-hmm. And that should be really fun. And we would love publicly submitted questions for the candidates because we think they need to hear from you. You are their employer. You are the one who is giving them the job or not, but hopefully yes. Because Republicans have had 20 years of not great. So if you'd like to submit some public questions, you can go to tcdems.org/askthemdems. So we'll be sharing that out on social media. Yes. So please make sure you submit your questions. We want them to hear from the people that matter, you, the voters.
Their constituents.
I mean, when's the last time you had a Republican ask you your thoughts on anything?
I have gotten emails where they ask me, but it's usually like completely misinformation written to make you answer what they want. Not at all. What is it that
not reality based?
Yeah, it's not asking what do you as a citizen want,
and not what do you want. More like don't vote for Democrats. It's more like, like you're saying, just disinformation, misinformation, and just tearing us down. It's not even like platform related. Like, what are you going to do for me? No.
Yeah. I have to say, every time I see, because right now, like the disinformation is rampant among Republicans right now. Like they are panicked about November. If you're, right, as they should be. But they're trying to put on a brave face that they're not worried. However, they very much are. And you can tell by the stuff they're putting out there. Because again, Republicans have been in charge of Texas for 20 years. 20 years they've had to support removing the tampon tax on feminine products, hygiene products that are necessary to function, right? Janet Dudding, our amazing Democratic comptroller candidate, has been pushing on this recently. And guess what? Suddenly, after Janet's been pushing this, and local organizers and local activists have been pushing this for years, right? But because Janet Dudding is getting some traction and saying, hey, as comptroller, I have direct oversight and can help on these kinds of things. And because Janet's pushing and getting vocal about it, suddenly now there are articles where Governor Greg Abbott is open to the idea of it.
Well, it's an election year. Of course he's open to
Well,
it.
here's the thing. Here's the trick. Here's the trick, okay? Especially from a comms perspective. It's signaling that he's open to it because it's getting traction and people are like, yeah, makes complete sense. Why do we have that?
Mhm.
While he's ignoring the fact that he's been in a position of public office for the last like 20 years, maybe not governor, but he's been in public elected office and has been able to push on this, has been able to signal and do something, not just say he supports it, but do something. And he's chosen not to.
Mhm.
Well,
So
And he probably still
he's getting
won't.
a good headline, but
exactly.
yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
but he's a dude who doesn't, I mean, he doesn't
Do you pay
care about
taxes,
women
Vicki? But do you pay taxes?
more than I should.
Okay, Iris, do you have to pay taxes?
Yes, legally I do.
I-
and I
Yes,
do pay
I
them.
too. I do too, as well. We are all constituents, and so this whole notion of like,
Women don't
well, he's a
matter.
dude. It's not been on his radar. I don't care.
no.
Like that's
No,
the
that's not.
conversation. No.
Yeah.
I promise. I'm going somewhere good with this. I promise. That's not what I'm not like denouncing what you're saying. My point is, I'm past that kind of conversation in the media where they give him that headline and say like he's open to it and act like that's enough while ignoring the context of, again, he's had the opportunity to act and he's chosen not to because he's not viewing women as full people in society.
Exactly.
We all pay our taxes. We are all people.
Exactly.
And these are some of the basic things that I am tired of, pardon my French, but I am tired of asking for this kind of stuff. Like, we're all people. Start treating us like people. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I'm so sick of lack of accountability. I need all the Democrats watching, get on our Connect Texas app, reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, reach out to your neighbors, because that's what it's going to take. All of us getting pissed off enough, showing up, making sure that our friends and family show up and they don't sit this one out because they think nothing will ever change. It won't. When we don't show up and we don't evict them from doing a crappy job, you're right. It's not changing. But you choose to act.
Preach.
You choose to take action.
Preach.
Guess what? Shit changes. Janet just got him on the record saying, hey, I'm going to now think about supporting that. Guess what? He can either act or he can't. We're done pretending like I'm signaling support. No, I'm done. I'm done.
And he's not going to.
Mm-mm.
No, I agree. He's
No.
not.
Enough of that half-ass stuff. Enough. I'm done. I'm over it. I get too off track again. My apologies. This Thursday, Mid-Cities Democrats is having a working meeting at Los Jimadores in Bedford. So again, anybody listening or watching, you don't need to feel like you have to come in and like solve all the problems because that's impossible, right? It takes all of us doing every bit we can every day. That's how change happens. So, if you're not sure where to jump in, go to Thursday's meeting, sit with some other Democrats, listen to some people, do a little bit of local action. I think they're helping us with our door stickies.
Yes.
Right?
Actually, I think they're doing postcards for Bojana's
Okay.
campaign.
That's
Well,
right.
yeah.
That's right. They're doing postcards.
Yeah, this week, but they have been doing our stickums.
The past one was. That's right.
And if that's not the area you're in, go to our website, tarrantdemocrats.org, and go to our calendar. And just in case, there's like a tab that says Allied Clubs and Orgs. And you can go to that and see when all the other, not all, but everyone that provides us with their schedule and such. And find a club or organization near you if Mid-Cities isn't.
Right. But the whole point, you don't have to come in and think you have to know or be able to do all the things. Just jump in where you can, if
Baby
your
steps.
jam. Yeah, exactly. But it's consistent baby steps. right?
Join the
consistently,
fight.
Yes, because
Join
it is
it.
a fight in Texas.
Yeah, join it. You don't have to lead it. Join it.
Thoughts, Iris?
Yeah, I mean, you can start small. That's getting to know people is a great way to get connected. Once you know people who kind of not think like you, but are like-minded and kind of support the same things you're supporting, I think it's also more encouraging to get involved. You'll have a friend to go block walking with, or write postcards with on the weekend. I really like clubs because, you get that camaraderie.
Yeah.
Most of the times it's with coffee or food. So it's a nice time. So I definitely recommend getting involved with the club if you're not already. Join one. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's social action, but also it's socializing, but with action.
Yeah.
With purpose.
Yes. Because
it's 2 for 1.
For sure.
and honestly, I think that's our problem. We get wrapped up in the non-productive, like we do. I don't know. We just need to get more active. That's what's going to win. That's how we're going to win. And we can bitch about it all day long, but I mean, we got to do something. Republicans do it all day long. We do too. We have to.
Well, Republicans are in the position, again, for the last 20 years, they've controlled Texas. 20 years. We're not going to pretend they haven't had an opportunity to act, to do something, because they have. But it's that gap, because Republicans use the power of government, the thing that they decry and say they don't really believe in and that they run, but they use that bureaucracy. They put bureaucracy in place to make it harder, to make it annoying, to make it frustrating. So it does take an army of us to really address that, to give people rides, to remove that barrier, to assist people, or to have people to remind voters who do vote by mail, to fill out all the little places, because they've added so many little stupid requirements, again, to use that bureaucracy to try to get rid of votes. That's the point of it. But but they use it and they weaponize it in effective ways. So we have to fight back, and that takes people, which thankfully is something that Democrats usually are pretty good at. People power.
Yes. And I want to say, please don't say that your vote doesn't count, because we've had we have a candidate, a congressional nominee, who literally won the nomination with 97 votes. So every vote does count. And don't say that it doesn't affect you, because whether you own a house or you rent, your rent is going up, because your landlord's property taxes are going up. And if you own a house, I don't have to tell you, your property taxes have gone up. And isn't there an additional little fee on our electric bill? Thank you, Abbott.
That would be the Abbott tax. Yeah.
So don't say politics doesn't affect you, because all day, every day, your school taxes, and
every time you buy gasoline.
And local down ballot candidates matter right now more so than federal all day, every day, because our state laws are written by our state representatives. So, which is local. Oh, and your county judge is not actually a judge. They are like the mayor or governor. Yeah, they're the mayor, or like equivalent to mayor, governor of our county.
So it's kind of like a smaller,
Mini-
but it's like a mirror. It's like a mirror of the national system. So we have the executive branch, the president's the head of that, and then you have your judicial branch, the Supreme Court's the highest court, and you have your legislative branch, which is Congress, which is the House and the Senate. And then at the local level, your county judge would be like that executive role, that executive branch.
Yeah. Or
even though they're called a county judge.
yeah, like your your commissioner's court. Those are like your state representatives.
Mm-hmm. It's like the legislative body.
Yeah, they're the ones who do or don't fix your streets, red lights,
County jails.
Put in a stop sign. I mean, I guess my point is every little bitty thing really does affect you down ballot wise. So politics affects
well,
you.
And again, they have to follow and abide by the laws passed at the state level. And it's how they interpret and enforce those and prioritize those. Mm-hmm. We've seen with the fall of Roe v. Wade that there is an effort on the right, there's an effort to use and weaponize that now and prosecute people and really go after those $10,000 bounties that Greg Abbott has put on the head of anybody who helps women and pregnant people access health care. That now is something that they can utilize because that's the tool that Abbott and the Republicans have given to those local DAs. Those races really are some of the least spotlighted, the ones that people kind of don't really pay as much attention to. And again, it's understandable. There's a lot going on. So, I mean, I get it. But, but like having somebody who really does use that prosecutorial discretion in a way that serves the public, that isn't just self-serving a political agenda, but is actually serving to make public safety a priority and really think about the community impact of those decisions. That to me, like that's one of the big races I'm watching is the Tiffany Burks for DA. She was on not last week, I think the week before, and had an amazing conversation. If you haven't listened to that, go back and watch that episode. Because truly, when you hear these candidates talk about the things they can or can't do with the office that they're seeking, it really does put that in perspective of how it's going to affect your life. So very valuable to hear, I think.
Agreed.
Okay, so I feel like I forgot to mention something. There's something big coming up. What is it, Vicki?
Telethon Labor Day Picnic.
Telethon. Yes. Okay. Who wants to talk about that? I've talked enough.
Okay. So Labor Day, we have an all-day telethon, and the telethon is
8 a.m. 8 p.m. right?
Yes. The telethon itself isn't actually 8 to 8 because first thing in the morning, it's going to be like postcards, letter writing kind of stuff because we don't call people.
So activities though from 8 to 8. Okay.
Yes, but actually calling. So the purpose of this is to get sustaining members. So it's known Democratic donors inside of Tarrant County. And it's calling them because we're rolling out our new membership benefits. And it's just calling them. We provide everything.
So what does that look like? When you call and ask them, for example, like what are we planning to ask when we call and ask them to reactivate or to become now a sustaining member? Like what's the pitch?
So the pitch is we are, providing literature to all of our down ballot candidates. We are registering voters, activating, educating voters, and doing everything we can to increase the number of voter turnout so that we can win in November. But all of it takes funding, and Tarrant County being the third largest county in Texas, only behind Harris and Dallas. And let me just say real quick, Harris only turned blue in 2018. So there's lots of hope for the third largest county in the state.
Yep.
Same people, though, that we're asking to come and help with the telethon, we're also hoping they already are or they become a sustaining member, because it really is. It takes all of us, right? I work for the party, but I'm also a sustaining member. I believe all of y'all are as well, because that's how much we believe in this. We believe in the change that we know Tarrant County is capable of. It's just when we fill that gap of people showing up to the ballot box, to really signal to the powers that be, the people currently in power, Republicans. It's that's what it is. That's what's going to take, right? It's that gap.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the show. Grab your yard signs if you haven't already. It sounds silly, but the messaging wars are on. So if you don't have a t-shirt or a yard sign, that's something easy and small, helps us out a ton. And it gets other people to see our logo, maybe check out our website, check out our candidates. It really, like, those little things, they add up, especially when a lot of people do them. They have ripple effects. So grab your merch, grab your sign. We got 3 sizes or 3 choices, I guess. We have our big Beto sign for $50 or $62 if you want us to put it up somewhere public for you. And our TCDP Beto Future signs for $20. Is that right?
Yes. $20.
Yes.
Okay. And then what I'm calling our Beto bag signs, just because that's the design of it, they're $15. They're perfectly fine. That's what I call them. Fine. Also, September 1st, Crystal Gayden, running for the 324th District Judge, Family Court Judge, is going to have a meet and greet. So check that out. Link and information will be shared in the bulletin brief. If you're not already subscribed, please do so on our website. Yada,
Oh my
yada.
gosh.
Okay.
Did y'all see her recent TikTok?
TikTok? Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I was like, yes, girl, get it.
All of the Tarrant ladies, if you're not following them on social media, you're missing out. Like, they're so fun. They're so fun, but also really informative. Like Ebony Turner and Mark Clayton, and I think Crystal as well, and Lisa's done this, but they all have like little segments where they help explain parts of the law and get the public more comfortable and familiar with it, which I think is great. Like, that helps us feel empowered and knowledgeable, so we can navigate that system should we need to. Like, I think it's wonderful what they do. It's great. Great job, ladies.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great. Props to y'all.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from them, which is I love to learn. So grateful for people who are open to educating others.
Yeah. Yes. I love those ladies. They're like, I don't know. I love those ladies. Powerful, awesome. Yeah.
Okay, so we've kind of meandered, but we're going to go into our headline highlights segment. I don't know if y'all have noticed. It's been a little wet.
It's very wet outside.
It's been a little rainy.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. So my house yesterday, thankfully we were able to work remote. So thank you, Executive Director and Big Boss Allison, not on here.
I didn't want to drive, so I'm not going to make y'all drive. No.
Right. Well, okay, because so back to my little mini story here. So on my street this week, they decided they would be shutting it down to work on repairing a whole bunch of water pipes because we've had
no.
issues. Right. So there's like it's not right across from my house, but it's like right across and then just a little bit a ways, but not far, right? It's very close. So there's a giant hole in the street where they could repair a water pipe, and guess what it was full of?
Oh no. Water.
Oh yeah. Whole lot of water. And
Oh,
then
no.
there was like halfway up my yard, it was a pond. I don't know how else to describe it. It was a pond. But I was nervous yesterday. And I know in Dallas and other areas of like across the county, there have been people who've had actual, damage come up into their homes. So I'm lucky. I know that, but it's been wet.
Well, so for those of you who don't know, I actually live in Ellis County, Waxahachie, and I am pro Tarrant County because 75% of my congressional district is in Tarrant County and the deep red sea over here. That's how I feel like I can make a difference in Ellis County. Anyway, so Waxahachie in particular is in a river flood.
Like a flood zone?
River flood warning right now.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, where's the river? We don't have a river. We have a lake. Okay, I mean, that's all right.
So let me ask it this way. Would it surprise you to know that despite all of this flash flooding we've been talking about and it's experiencing, we have actually been under an official drought in Texas since 2021.
Oh wow. I didn't know like it had been officially that long.
Yeah. It's been rough. I mean, where did we go? Oh, not long ago we went to Broken Bow in Oklahoma, y'all. And we went over the Red River. There was like nothing. I mean, it was the water level was so low. It didn't, of course, the Red River always looks horrible because there's so much of that red clay, Red River.
I think
But
it's pretty.
I mean, yeah, it's different, it's different. But it already looks like there's no water there. But then with the water level being so low, and then on top of that, take into consideration that we get our water from our local lakes, and they have been the water level's just been so low for so long.
So you were saying about Broken Bow?
Yeah, we went over the Red River and it.
The river was low.
Yeah.
Like, could you see like extra, like how, like?
Oh yeah, you could see like
how, like what?
Like the bank was up here and the water level was not.
Well, okay, so Texas has been, we've been under a drought warning. Like we've been under an official drought since 2021. And one of the articles that's going to be in our bulletin brief talks about this. But they say, making matters worse. As water pressure levels drop from depleting natural resources, water leaks and main breaks have increased. I can attest to that. The waterline breaks are potentially a result of the drought's severity. Dry conditions cause the soil to expand and contract, and they put pressure on the pipes underground. So climate change makes more extreme weather, right?
Mm-hmm.
This problem is not going to magically go away if we ignore it.
No.
We currently have Republicans and a Republican governor that would like to legislate by just ignoring it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to get better. And I personally, reading that line was like, okay, so all the Republicans who have been talking crap about the bipartisan infrastructure bill that has brought millions of dollars for these kinds of things. Safe drinking water was a big priority of the Biden administration with that bill. It really matters who we put in power to oversee that. Mm-hmm. Because of this, because it's not going to magically get better. And I can't trust my state and local government to handle this in a timely manner that's not going to be more costly or potentially more hazardous to my health or my family's health because they're not going to address it, right? So again, local elections matter so much. So much.
They do. They do. No, I mean, our whole way of life, lifestyle, livelihood is
your shirt. Your shirt.
Such a good shirt.
Well, but I mean, again, like with the rain. So in my area, I'm in an older, more established part of North Richland Hills, and all of our internet lines are up above ground, right?
Same.
Now in modern, right, in more recent development areas, they put those lines underground to protect them. So any little bit of squirrels that gnaw the lines in our neighborhood, if there's even a drop of water that gets on that, everything, like all the internet goes out for the block every time. So again, 20 years of Republicans, they've not expanded my internet choices. I only have like 2 internet providers. They all are slow. Yep. They have not improved or made, safe drinking water a bigger priority with the problem of climate change increasing, not decreasing, right? We've got Abbott touting all these oil and gas energy jobs while completely ignoring all of the new markets that are emerging as a result of the Inflation Reduction Act and this huge investment in green, clean energy, the energy sector that is the future, right? Mm-hmm. And he's saying, no, I just want to help my oil and gas buddies. Like, why would you put Texas at such a disadvantage? We are an energy state. Let's keep being it. I know, but that's the thing. It's so much better and it's more money. Like, why would we not be so excited about this? Why would we not be promoting this? Why would our governor handicap our state this way?
Okay, so
unless he thought it was going to help him politically.
Yeah.
Which is probably his thinking.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about, Abbott's failures when it comes to climate policy and really focusing on infrastructure, right? Our grid still not fixed. But it's worse. It's worse. So this caught my eye in the Daily Beast. And it's an article titled "A Teenager's Nightmare Stay in Greg Abbott's Prison for Kids." Recently, we've had several headlines that are really concerning. Again, if you're not paying attention to our judicial candidates, you really need to be, because we've got a whole thing that just blew up with Judge Alex Kim and the incentivizing of, the kid to prison pipeline. Like that's not sustainable for society. It's not healthy for kids and families. There are better ways to do things, right? Instead of just shuffling them off every time. So this story talks about a specific child, but it really is a long history of issues that are made worse, again, because Governor Greg Abbott is in charge. So he has been consistently taking funds away and making the crisis worse. He's been using it for his border stunt. There's a reason that he would rather talk about that. And again, Operation Lone Star is under multiple investigations. It's not producing the results that they've been claiming it is producing.
And
they're taking funds away. It is, but it's not only that, but it's taking funding and causing worse crises, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this one girl, and they don't name her obviously because she's a minor, but they talk about, she endured isolation that exacerbated her mental health. She had to face humiliating treatments of being left to urinate on the floor of her cell, despite the staff being fully aware that she had a medical issue that causes her to have very little bladder control. And she told them, hey, I have got to go to the bathroom. Having to walk the floor in the outdoor, like in the public living area, in a suicide alert gown, just different things that already, if you're facing mental health issues, are going to be hard on you. Add to that being a teenager, a child, just normal average teenagers are hugely self-conscious and constantly, like everybody's looking at me. Oh, they saw that. Oh, I'm so, right. And then add all of that to this, right? Absolutely horrific. And this is not a one-off. Again, this is multiple media outlets reporting issues, multiple ones. This is just one story of one girl's perspective and experience that is, it's horrifying. It's frankly horrifying. Y'all's thoughts?
Excuse me. It is horrifying. But it is a glimpse into what's happening and the mismanagement of our prisons. And this person probably does not need to be in a prison. They need proper mental health care. And being in this situation, like you said, is just going to make the situation worse for her. And plus the trauma of being put through those situations. Me, even as an adult, I cannot imagine being put in that situation. I can't imagine what it is for a minor.
Okay, so what did this child do that was so wrong that got her in jail?
So she had a history of violent outbursts, but also suicidal ideation. So she was a bit of a handful, to put it kind of colloquially, for her parents. But again, that's not really the issue that got her there. It's the fact that the only options for a lot of parents, a lot of families in Texas, there's not a good mental health services system. There's not a good network that people can afford and access. And the only option for people in Texas often to get any kind of mental help is through the prison system.
Yeah.
That's not accidental. Again, Republicans have been in charge for 20 years. That is by design. When they want to tout being the law and order candidates, it's because they're funneling people in other ways to these places. That's their option. And these are some of their best donors. These private prison operators are some of their best donors. So the public doesn't get true mental health services that they deserve. They get to tout, and their private prison donors get bigger budgets because they've got more people crammed in there. And they get to pretend like it's law and order because they can tout really hard, large numbers of people in prison. Again, none of this is serving the public. It's not setting us up for a better future. It's destroying families. It is causing generational trauma to happen. Like, there is a better way, and we just have to demand it. It's again, I'm going to keep saying it because I really, we are less than 100 days. If you are pissed off, if you are frustrated with the lack of infrastructure, with the lack of addressing climate change, with, demonizing mental health and, poverty and funneling those people to prisons instead of helping them and having a safety net like we're supposed to. If you are pissed off about all of these things,
legalizing Mary Jane.
If you want that legalized, if you want our grid to actually function and be stable for your business or your home or your school, if any of these things are an issue to you,
yes,
then take action. Because if you don't, you're guaranteed the same old results, which is more Republicans, which is more of this.
Yeah.
Right. Oh no, it will be worse. It will be worse. The perfect time to actually bring up State Rep Matt Krause in House District 93 in Tarrant County. Okay. So State Rep Matt Krause for State House District 93. Yeah. He's the guy that sent the list way back 2021, I think. Maybe it was just earlier this year. Time is all kind of fuzzing together at this point.
Pretty sure it was last year.
He sent the list. Yeah, I think so. But he sent the list out to all the districts, basically demanding, like, we want to check what books you have. It's a censorship list. Now, nearly every school district has their own committee made up of parents, administrators, community members to go through and do this exact type of thing. But it's local control. It's locally decided because they know their community far better than a representative who maybe lives, hundreds of miles away in another district. So this guy is gaslighting. He is straight up gaslighting right now. And he is setting the stage, I think, a very dangerous stage for some Christian nationalism. That's a term I know some people may have heard, many probably haven't, but you need to be aware of it. So the idea behind Christian nationalism is that it's a fascist idea. It's basically saying we want to run a Christian state. You can't do that favoring one religion above the other and be in line with our federal constitution.
What happened to religious liberty?
Yes, exactly.
Regardless of race, creed, gender,
or religion,
right?
Okay, so here's the little hat trick that Matt is doing. So in his quote for the article, I think it's always a good idea to ensure that the books that are in the library's bookshelves in your schools are appropriate, age appropriate. And as you and I have talked about, what's appropriate in a Keller ISD high school may not be appropriate in a Keller ISD middle school. So I think you always have those conversations. I think they're constructive. Okay, not what he did. He sent a censorship list and was demanding that they check what they had in their libraries available to their students that had already, again, been through a review process locally controlled, and wanted to make that now a statewide control thing. Take away local control. So conservatives, you can miss me with your I'm for limited government, because y'all aren't. That's not what that is. But here's the worry part. Here's the more worrying part. So he's pretending like there's not a process for review. There is. And then he goes on to talk about the Bible. As for the Bible, he doesn't think it will be off the shelves for long. So in this process where he did this whole hullabaloo, evidently one of the books they then had requested to be pulled and reviewed was the Bible. And he claims it's this whole tit for tat thing. Again, I don't know about y'all, but the Bible was available, but you can't just have the Christian Bible. You got to have all of the options, right?
Yeah.
You can't favor one. And he's doing this whole pretense because they've been pushing this idea that we need prayer in school. Okay, when they say prayer in school, they mean forced prayer.
And Christian prayer.
Forcing. They mean one ideology or one perspective. It's really not about the books. It's not about the Bible. It's about controlling what is allowed to be discussed and talked about and framed in a certain way. And that's what worries me about this. Because he's confusing these two things, that this book review thing that he called for, he instigated, he started this censorship by the state and intervened in local control. And then now he's entering in and pretending and making a big deal about the Bible being one of the books. And of course they'll reinstate it. Well, when they reinstate it, that's when they get the opportunity to push it even further. This is not going away. They're trying to push from the top down, from the state, an ideology and an agenda. And it has no business when we have reviews in place, again, with the people actually affected in those communities. They're trying to take away local control and install what they want, their agenda.
Despite that, didn't we do the whole state and church being separate?
Separate.
I mean, let's just go back to that. But okay, so let me just.
We did, but they're pretending it's no longer a thing.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, whatever. It's
They're
not.
pretending that that's not a real doctrine, but it is.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, for those of you out there who don't care about the book situation, who don't have children that it's affecting or whatever, because there are plenty of people who may or may not care about that. Okay. He is also, for those of you in the medical field, especially you doctors, he loves to mess with doctor stuff. Anything in medical, he loves to mess with that. And it is stupid, ridiculous, risky stuff. So yeah, he needs out of office for a long list of what the hell, because he's dangerous. He is just a dangerous person to be in a position to write law for us. He should not be.
Again, though, he's totally gaslighting. He is totally, if nothing else, he doesn't deserve to be rehired when he's straight up pretending like he's not doing the very thing he already did. Because in the article, he's quoted, and he talks, and they say, but the Republican also firmly believes these decisions should remain local. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. That's the gaslighting, okay? Mm-hmm. He doesn't believe it should be local because he already intervened and decided to make that non-local now. They're gaslighting. They're doing the things that they decry, and then they turn around and pretend like, oh, but I am for that. You know, again, we're going to shift gears here again. Let's talk about, okay, this is the kind of, I'm going to politically like news junkie nerd out on you for a second. So let's talk about the Mar-a-Lago search warrant. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Tangerine Tyrant, shall we? Yes. Oh. Sorry, I like alliteration and I like that name. So
I just really like tangerines.
Oh my gosh, for real. Same.
It looks better, not as a skin tone though.
Yeah.
You know, he uses like orange concealer. Like the makeup
Who is this?
Trump. He literally uses like an orange concealer. That's what gives him that orange look.
Yeah, somebody really needs to tell him, don't do that.
No, I'm here for it. Make yourself a clown. It matches your inside.
Ooh.
Ugly outside, ugly inside.
Yes. So Mar-a-Lago, that would be the Trump lodgings where he lives. The FBI executed a search warrant on behalf of the Department of Justice. The right and the Republicans providing cover are pretending this is a raid. It's a raid. Okay. It's not a raid.
Ridiculous.
Yes. So back in January of this year, so for the whole, basically all of like 2021, the rest of it, and then 2022, beginning of it, the Department of Justice has been, the National Archives actually, has been working with Trump, trying to get these documents back. Okay, so the raid is not a raid. It was a search warrant because he had in his possession classified documents that were not his. They belong to the National Archives. They belong to us, the people. They are our public records of his public service, again, for us. We're his bosses, right? So
supposedly
in January, he did give them a batch of documents. They were retrieved, and it was 100. There was more than 150 marked classified. The problem is they've now recovered 300 documents, more than 300 documents. So he pretended back in January, this is it. You got all the stuff. He had his lawyer, Miss Bob, sign saying, yep, this is it. Y'all got all the stuff. It's given back to you. No classified stuff. All your documents are back. That was not the case. So the volume of sensitive material that they found explains their urgency to move and go ahead with the search warrant, because again, he was refusing to give the documents that did not belong to him. And he has a history of profiteering off of private government secrets. I mean, look at Jared and Ivanka. They got $2 billion from the Saudi government. Jared and MSB. Like, they didn't do that for nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what terrible secrets do you think we need to be worried about being sold to the world by our former president?
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah. He. Oh.
I don't even want to think about it. I'm hoping it's not like launch codes or something.
Oh my God. Well, or like even worse, like, all of the underground bunkers.
All our spies. I'm worried about all our spies.
Yes, their lives, their families, oh my gosh.
Their secret identities, what they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
I mean, 15 boxes that were turned over in January after he left, a year after he left office, included documents from the CIA, the National Security Agency, and the FBI, spanning a variety of topics of national security interest, according to the article from the New York Times. And they're reporting, and this is the part I think is extra interesting, especially for the whole will they, won't they charge him, discussion. Trump, former President Donald Trump, personally went through the boxes himself in late 2021. They're not going to report that just for no reason. Like, he knew he had, like, again, that's what you establish. He knew he had the documents. He knew they weren't his. Mm-hmm. He went through them personally. It's not like he accidentally grabbed them.
Yeah, no.
And he still kept them.
It was not an accident, for sure.
Mm-mm. No, it was not.
Yeah.
Not only that, there's reports. So they're trying, and they've been trying evidently really hard to get security footage from Mar-a-Lago, because they say that documents are still missing.
That's not a surprise
or
to me.
May have been destroyed.
That's even worse.
May have been. Oh, we totally know better than that.
I mean, I'm still wondering what was it he whispered to Sergei Kislyak and Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, back when he was in office, and he had them in the Oval Office and kicked out the American press, but let the Russian press stay in there. And that's how we knew about the meeting in the Oval Office. And he laughed and told them state secrets. Like, we still don't know what that was.
We never will. I don't think.
It's not great. It's not great.
Mm-hmm.
But so it brings me back. It brings me back to how we've been talking about the gaslighting. And again, Republicans in Texas, 20 years in charge. You know, like this weekend, do y'all watch? Okay, I know I'm the news junkie person. But do y'all watch any of like the weekend? Huh?
I used to.
A little bit, yeah. Okay. So this weekend, Dan Crenshaw, Republican state rep, or no, congressional rep, I'm sorry, went on Jake Tapper, on CNN with Jake Tapper. And he's doing the same, like he's pulling the same kind of gaslighting crap that Matt Krause is. Different topic, but same gaslighting. Because Dan Crenshaw went on there and basically like hemmed and hawed and said, you know, I don't understand why they did this raid. Okay, it wasn't a raid of Mar-a-Lago. It was a search warrant. When he does that, he's trying to dismantle this idea of accountability only for Republicans. They fully believe in using the law against Democrats. We saw 11 hours of testimony by one Hillary Rodham Clinton during the campaign trail. We've still yet to see an actual 11-hour questioning of the former guy on the record. Right. In fact, in New York, in his civil case, he pled the fifth.
Of course he did. Why would he want to talk about all the naughty things he did?
Well, again, though, it was a civil case. So it wasn't the only time you plead the fifth is supposed to be in a criminal case because you're avoiding
criminal charges.
Criminal. That's what the fifth is for. Yeah. He did this in a civil case, which means something might be coming. There really might be charges coming, and that's why he's being so cautious about it. Because they're saying they're all doing this whitewashing and this like revision of history in real time, pretending like we don't have eyes and ears, but we all have seen all of it happening. It's crazy. Okay, so essentially, though, again, we've got Republicans out there shilling and pretending like this is a raid, this is a big witch hunt, this is crazy. None of this is. They knew it's a lawfully executed search warrant. If they truly were the party of law and order, they would want to see him treated like any other person who potentially committed a crime. So don't let him gaslight you. Let's fill the gap because that's what's going to get us the win in Tarrant County. Anything we can do between now and November 8th. Again, we have been sharing it out and we've got links and signups for it and directions on how to get started for our Connect Texas app. But we really need everybody listening. Do whatever you can. Activate voters wherever you are. It doesn't have to be about all the issues. It can be about a few of the issues. It can really as simply be, as simple as just a fair vote, right? It's truly as simple as democracy. If we want our democracy to survive, we cannot reward Republicans for all the crap they have pulled. They have taken away personal freedoms from Roe v. Wade. They did it in a shady way with the shadow docket in the Supreme Court. This has been a long time coming, and they're trying to do it to our schools. And if we do nothing, they will succeed. So don't do nothing.
It's time for us to get involved. Get into it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
So thank you for joining us. That's all I got. See you next time. Thank you,
All right.
ladies.
See y'all next
Them,
Thursday.
People.
Bye. See you next week.
Bye.